This slide is a copy of what you have under your course materials. This is a page that I've given to you, and I just want to go over it with you. It comes from the Mosby's Guide to Physical Examination, which was your BSN Health Assessment course book, and comparing normal moles to dysplastic moles. The color of normal moles, usually they're uniformly tan or brown, and everybody seems to have a type of a mole, and they all look generally the same. Dysplastic moles tend to be different colors, mixtures of different shapes and colors of moles. Usually a round, oval, clearly defined borders are normal moles. When you start to see irregular borders, there can be notches, fading parts where it fades into the skin color. And then there's a fine line between dysplastic moles, what they look like, and what a melanoma looks like. And I have some pictures of the melanoma also at the end of this presentation. Benign moles are usually flat and smooth, and dysplastic moles can be more bumpy or pebbly or irregular in appearance. The size is usually small. 6 millimeters is the size. That's as big as a pencil eraser, to give you an idea. Melanomas are also larger than 6 millimeters. There's usually 10 to 40 normal moles on a person. If you get higher than that, you want to really start thinking that maybe this person has dysplastic Nevi syndrome. And the location is also listed on here, usually above the waist is where normal moles appear on sun-exposed surfaces of the body. Dysplastic moles can really occur anywhere, but they're very commonly found on the back. Move down, and we're going to talk about the color changes. Brown, white, red, or yellow. These are all listed on the handout that you have. And the dark pigments can look different on different people. So you can go over this list of the colors and what they're associated with on your own. And then I want to show you some pictures. This first slide shows number A right here. And that is called a junction nevus. And you can see that it's very dark, but the color is uniform. The border is even, and it's a symmetrical mole. A compound nevus is number B. And the compound nevus, the center is a little elevated, but the surrounding skin is flat. Number C is a dermal nevus. It's papillomatous, meaning it's raised like a little papilloma. It has a soft, flabby, kind of wrinkled surface, and that's called a dermal nevus. On this page, the top 3 are the pictures we just looked at of the nevi, and the bottom pictures are of melanoma. And when we talk about the ABCDs of melanoma, we want to look at, is it asymmetrical or is it symmetrical? And if you look at the top, we have the nevi, which are symmetrical. The right half looks like the left half. If we cut it in half, it would look the same. If we cut it along this angle, it would also look the same. Same thing with this mole. The right half matches the left, and the top half matches the bottom. This mole also is relatively symmetrical. If you look at the melanoma at the bottom, you notice that this is not symmetrical. The right half does not look like the left half. If we cut it here, the right would not match the left, and the top would not match the bottom. Likewise, the next picture is also asymmetrical. Again, if we tried to cut it in half, the top doesn't match the bottom at all, the right side does not match the left. So the first A is for asymmetry. You want to look at the border. The border on a mole is very clear. You can see this is where the mole starts, and this is the clear skin over here. On a melanoma, it's a little harder to tell the border. Is this the border? Is this the border? Is this the border? It's more difficult. On this one, it looks like there's kind of a redness bleeding into the outlying skin. That's very worrisome. And same with this, you see a very dark part in the center, dark black, followed by a more flat, lighter color with some red on the border. So the border isn't nice and clean and distinct. The border is kind of mushing into the surrounding skin, if that makes any sense, as opposed to these where it's very distinct beginning and an end to each lesion. The color is the third aspect we want to look at. And the color should be uniform brown if it was a mole. You don't really want much color variation. And if you see in this first picture of a melanoma, we have brown, but we have dark brown and light brown. Here we have black, we have some pink, we have some red, some areas of inflammation. Here we have some very dark here and some lighter brown and some dark red here. Here we have brown and very dark black. So the color is varying, and it's going from black and red and brown. One of the things you want to watch out for are halos where there's white colors inside or white spaces inside a darker melanoma. This could indicate that the white blood cells are attacking the melanin and carrying it off to the lymph nodes, which is a nice thing for it to be doing, but when you think about it, it's picking up the melanin, which is melanoma, which is the way that it can metastasize to other parts of the body. So that can be a very worrisome sign to see the white halo, the white vacant areas inside of a melanoma. The diameter is the other thing we want to look at. That's the D, and we talked about 6 millimeters being the size of a pencil eraser. And if you can see this measuring area here, this is going to be 1 centimeter. So anything over 6 millimeters, which is roughly half of that, is going to be bigger than the 6 millimeters. So these are pretty large lesions, and we are very concerned about them being melanoma. When we look at the A, B, C, and D to evaluate melanoma. Some texts you'll see E as a 5th determining factor, and that would stand for elevation or evolution. I've heard it being used for both. Elevation would be the height of the lesion from the surface of the skin, and evolution would be a changing mole. If something is undergoing some rapid change or noticeable change, that would be the E. So when you're evaluating a Nevi, you're trying to tell if it's a normal mole, a dysplastic mole, or a melanoma. You want to make sure you check the A, B, C, and D of all, and E of all of the lesions. I appreciate your attention, and I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you very much.